make sure you like and subscribe and go follow me on Patreon. My name on there is also just called BlueTube. It's only $5. It would mean so much to me if you guys joined.
And she looks at me, she goes, well, if you could guess the color of my panties,
Please.
I'll you. I'm like, okay, red. And she goes, they're green, but good enough.
Today I'm actually going to do another Joe Rogan. He is talking to Bill Burr about Unattainable Beauty Standards. I have not watched this video, but it looked like one of his more popular ones and an interesting topic.
Most of my friends, we all got busted for drinking and driving. The best one was a buddy of mine. They read his, and it was like, approximately 4 a.m, we noticed a maroon VW Fox blowing its horn, trying to pass on the right. We pulled the defendant over. After repeatedly asking the defendant to stay in the car, he got out of the car, threw his keys at my feet, and repeatedly stated, "Lock me up, I'm fucked up." And this was funny. My buddy was a good-looking guy, and the judge was a woman. And when the guy read that, lock me up, I'm fucked up. And he wasn't the brightest guy. And he just he went like, ugh. He like put his head down like that. And he was, little pound puppy fucking looking dude. And she gave him like a lighter sentence. And
because he was good looking?
I think so. Yeah, I mean, that all plays in. That's why ugly people are complaining so much. Like they won't take the time to develop a fucking personality, write some jokes, do what the rest of us have to do. Like, I don't get mad at Brad Pitt. How come he fucking, because he's fucking beautiful.
Oh my God.
I'm a fucking bald, red-headed male. I know where I am in the pecking order. And some of these fucking people who are complaining right now, who are mad that beautiful people get treated differently. I understand racially speaking, but you're not going to do the beautiful thing. And then there's another thing they try to say. Well, society tries to, they're the ones that fuck.
I think he's already covered a lot, so I actually am going to have to stop myself and go ahead and comment on some of the things that they're already getting into, which is the beauty standards. I find it funny that they started off with a guy actually being so, I guess, beautiful or attractive that a female probably gave him a lighter sentence for it, which I have seen an actual psychology test. They showed two people. They showed somebody who may have been perceived as unfortunately less attractive and somebody who seemed very beautiful or very attractive. They would be the same sex, and the room full of people who saw the picture of the person who was less attractive gave that person a bigger sentence than the other room full of people who saw the beautiful person who did the same thing, and they did it over and over and over again. So it did kind of prove that beautiful people are sometimes just treated and looked at a little bit lighter or better than people who are deemed as ugly or less attractive. I really like that he's he's understanding. I'm not going to be mad at Brad Pitt because Brad Pitt is beautiful. Like, if I audition for the same movie that Brad Pitt auditions for and he's picked because it's a shirtless role or because the guy plays a stud character, he makes fun of himself for not having hair and how he's like a ginger regular guy. Just because you didn't really hit the genetic lottery doesn't mean that you can't develop something else. You could be funny, you can be smart, you can develop some type of talent. It doesn't mean that, somebody doesn't want to hang out with you just because of that reason. They could want to hang out with you in spite of how you look because you have something else to offer, because you're funny or you have a talent or you have something else going for you. You're nice, you're motherly, you're helpful. I mean, there's all sorts of things that are a lot more important than how you look, especially since looks really do just change as you get older. But if you have some other type of characteristic or personality or talent, for the most part, you probably won't lose that. So just develop something else. There's probably always going to be somebody who's better looking than you. And this is also kind of a message to beautiful people too. It does kind of run out. Not to sound really cliche, but looks really do run out even if you have plastic surgery. Everybody gets old. And so hopefully you're developing something before you kind of leave your grace period and you don't really have the one thing that you kind of rode on.
That's another thing they try to say. Well, society tries to, they're the ones that fucking, I love when there's a supermodel, this is like an impossible standard of beauty to try and live up to. Yeah. That's why she's on the cover of a magazine. She's that level beautiful. And you're going to try and sit there and tell me that was learned.
Well, here's the thing. That's only women. Because when you see Jason Momoa playing Aquaman, you don't hear men saying that's an impossible standard of beauty that we have to.
No, I just make fun of that fucking stupid thing he has to hang on to.
I love him.
I don't care how much you can kick my ass. That is the dumbest shit. You leave me on a fucking cereal box.
It's a trident.
For years, they had a problem, like, with Aquaman. It's like he's in the ocean. Human beings are on Earth. Like, what do we... Like, I have to see that fucking movie. What are they going to be? Is it going to be, like, Japanese people, like, finning? Is he going to save shark?
He goes underwater. Is that his skin? Like, all the bumps? What is that? Is that a suit?
Doesn't water get in the gloves? You think that have to be all one piece, right?
Yeah.
It would be annoying as shit. Is it any worse than water in your gloves?
Well, look, it looks like it catches them, like a water catcher. Like, not just, like, water gets in the gloves. It's like a funnel.
He looks like a stripper at a bachelorette party.
He does. A good one. Like, you paid money.
Good one.
You got a good one. Got dieted down for that.
Yes, he did, and he got all the abs. So he's better than I am. Oh, this is the fall look.
A different one.
Yep.
The fall look.
This is when he's in the Black Sea. You know what I mean? He wants to fucking...
Gets cold.
Yeah.
I love Jason Momoa though, but I do know that a lot of people gave him a hard time after that movie when he apparently developed like a dad bod. I don't mind. I'm just saying that there were still a lot of people who gave him like a hard time. Once you get to that type of standard for a movie, you're like not allowed to, I guess, lose it, because then you look worse because you're being compared to this high beauty standard that you actually did create yourself by going into a role, and now it's like, oh, you're out of shape. When in reality, he's still not that bad. He just isn't as, I guess, great as he was in the movie. So I don't know, but that was a funny thing to point out about women and men. I don't really think that men do personally point out, well, that guy's only on Calvin Klein because, you know, like he doesn't eat for 3 days and, you know, he takes steroids. Like, I just don't really hear guys complaining about, I guess, really attractive men or buff men on magazines and Instagram or whatever who are like better than their beauty standard type, whatever. It is mostly women who complain about it.
You see what's going on in the UK? The UK has banned advertisements that feature unobtainable bodies. There's I
Jesus,
retweeted
the way you eat
I tweeted it recently.
The way they eat fish and chips over there, that's going to be most of advertising.
Well, they had these ads for summer bodies. You know, you see a girl in a bikini, and they're now making it illegal to put those
Why
kind of
can't
ads
you
up.
aspire to that? Like, I look at that Aquaman guy, that makes me want to go to the gym. I don't be like, oh, you know, he's got a full head of hair. Look at, like, you got to make me feel better?
It's because the people that complain. Who are the people that complain? The people that complain are the people that don't want to work to be that lady. They don't want to work to get that kind of a body, and they just want to not see it. They don't want to go to the subway and see a body that they're never going to have.
Yeah, I saw an actress complaining one time because the studio told her that she needed to lose 15 pounds. I'm like, you can't drop 15 to star in a movie? I mean, what carrot can they specifically carrot? Some veggies in your diet. What do they have to dangle in front of you to go to the fucking gym like the rest of us? Like, I literally, like, because I always say, oh, guys don't have to deal with that. It's like, yeah, we do.
Of course,
yes, we do.
Aquaman
Like,
had to deal with that.
I
What if
know,
he gained 20 pounds?
Dude, forget about him. If just having 5 lines in a fucking movie. If I am north of 171, 72 pounds, the fucking tweets I get, hey, Billy Booze Bag. Hey, Billy Bitch Tits. Hey, fat freckles. All of this shit that I get.
Fat
like,
freckles.
I know, like, they sit there and they have like, they're acting like
Billy Booze.
fucking teens. Where everything is just...
Billy Booze. Is that what he said? Look at his face that I paused on. Now I feel so bad. God, people are so mean. And I bet if you said that to a woman, it would be like, how dare you? You can't even shame a woman for being skinny, like, or fat, obviously, because it's just like you shouldn't shame any body type. But I really don't care people talking about men. Like, you can't shame men for having, like, you know, man boobs or dad bods. Like, a lot of it's kind of still just a joke and people still do it. I do think that women are clearly a little bit more sensitive about beauty standards, but I also don't want to make up excuses as to why you're allowed to make fun of men, but you can't make fun of women. Like, I feel bad for Bill Burr. Doesn't really look like he takes it that seriously, but still, oh my God, like, do not call him that. Stop. But I do also still like Bill Burr's point. It might sound harsh if you just think of it as weight and what we go through society, but if you really look at it, it is kind of like a job. So if you're an actress and you have to play a role of a character, and the character happens to be specifically labeled as 15 pounds than what you weigh, then yeah, it's kind of part of your role. Hey, dye your hair because she's not blonde and lose 15 pounds. So you're not going to freak out about dyeing your hair, but you're going to freak out that they told you to lose 15 pounds? I mean, arguably dyeing your hair costs money, but you could just go to the you could just go to the gym and lose 15 pounds. I know for a fact water fasting for a few days will make you lose 10 pounds of water weight. So 15 pounds is really not that hard whenever it's for your job. And not everything has to be taken that like an insult. I mean, I'll even speak on some of the men who have had to adjust their weight for movie roles. I know some of them that I can't even think of, like some of them ridiculous. Brad Pitt has been one of them, but I know Jason Momoa, since they had just talked about him earlier in the video, he had to gain a lot of weight and a lot of muscle tone for his role in Aquaman. You really think that they even wanted him as Khal Drogo and Game of Thrones if he didn't look the way that he did? No, he was always shirtless.
Like, I already knew I was unsightly, but I didn't realize how many things that people didn't enjoy about me. Until I got on the internet, I was like, wow, I never noticed that about myself.
Same.
So, yeah, I don't have, look, if somebody really has like a fucking eating disorder, you know, if you're like fucking obese, I have sympathy for those people. But if you're 15 pounds, 20 pounds overweight, I mean, fucking, you know, you drink some fucking smoothies.
These women that are playing these roles have to understand, first of all, that part of the reason why you got that role is not just because of your acting ability, but also because you're pretty. You have a beautiful face. You were born with it. You didn't even work at it. And then on top of that, you're supposed to be playing a beautiful person in the movie. They would like you to not be fat.
Well,
It's that simple. That's not discrimination.
There's millions of dollars at stake that could be lost.
It's kind of just like one of those things that you do have to do for your job if that's what you want as a job. Like the girl on Maxim, she is a model. And they had mentioned that, you know, well, why is she on the cover if that's such an unattainable beauty standard? Well, one, if it's so unattainable, she attained it. And two, if it was easy for everybody and she was just some regular person size, I don't know, 4 or 6. I don't know what's the average size, but if it was average, then nobody would look at her as a model, and they would only look at her as a regular person, and everybody would think that they should just be on the cover of Maxim because everybody's the same size and everybody looks like her, and it's not that, you know, inspirational or beautiful or rare because everybody really can't do it. She is special because she is a model, and that body type is very hard to get.
So I always feel like your job is, even if you look like me, is to show up on time, knowing your lines in the best possible shape you could get yourself in.
If that's the role.
That's even if I'm just fucking playing
What
anybody.
if you're Artie Lang? What if you're Artie Lang and you're supposed to play the guy that's smoking cigarettes and you're the brother-in-law that's drunk all the time?
Then your job's to look that way.
Yeah, your job's to look that way. Yeah, her job's to look like the hot woman that everybody wants to fuck. If they're telling you have to lose weight and you're a beautiful woman, it's because they want to make you more attractive. There's not like discrimination. There's a reason. They want a better product.
Oh, they want to make money.
Yeah, they're trying to make money. A better product.
And I'll tell you another thing too. Like really, those both male and female, like those beautiful people at that level, it's like they're fucking aliens. Like I've done a couple of movies. I did a movie one time, and I remember it was a scene. We were in a car, and the star of the movie was holding onto the steering wheel, and I was like I never thought this ever about a woman. I was like, her forearms are gorgeous. I was looking at him like I was like, those forearms are perfect. But I didn't make me, when I went to Stockholm, Sweden, how beautiful the people were there. I was going down the street pointing at guys with my wife going, Nia, look at that guy. Look at that fucking guy, like he's like an accountant walking down the street. He's like, does he know if he fucking came over here, he'd be starring in movies? And that's not all of Sweden, by the way. That's like just when you're in Stockholm. That's like their Manhattan. So all the beautiful fucking people. But I mean, I went to this went and bought like a magazine or something like that when I was over there. And the woman behind the counter was like a fucking 11 here. But she was working at a magazine stand, so that was her energy. Like, hey, how you doing? I'm working in a magazine stand. My dream hasn't come true yet. And you're just looking at him like you could sign with who was that big modeling agency? Yeah, like that all like Cindy Crawford and all them were with back in the day.
The Vikings. It's Viking blood. The best looking people. They went over there and raped and pillaged, and all that good DNA is left there. They caught the best women. They kept them alive. Killed everybody else.
Oh, is that what happened?
Oh yeah.
I don't know what happened.
Vikings.
But like
that's why they're so big, beautiful.
Oh yeah, no, they're super
Perfect
tall.
features.
That's one of the funniest things ever. When you go over to like the what do they call those? The Nordic, and then Scandinavia is within the Nordic countries. I always have to remind myself of that. Like you'd go over there, it was the funniest fucking shit because they're so goddamn tall. There would be kids almost my height whose voices hadn't changed yet, and they had the mentality of like an 11-year-old. And they'd be like, "Mom, I want to," except they were speaking that when they were talking, and their voice hadn't changed yet. And I was just sitting there laughing my ass off.
I don't know. The idea of beauty standards is kind of a complicated conversation, but I like how they summed it up and kind of made it funny and basic. Like, these are some of the typical things that come up, and then they made jokes about it, which jokes are like 30% real, and it was entertaining, and I think explained it well enough. Sure, you can argue that it's not fair, but it's just how it is. I mean, basic psychology, you learn that from the age of 4, you're treated differently based off of your looks, which I remember finding that out and figuring, oh my gosh, that is so harsh. But if people do it to 4-year-olds and psychology can tell you that, then I don't think that anyone's necessarily doing it on purpose to be mean or vindictive or hate fat people or hate people with certain noses or you have ugly hair or a hairline or nail bits or teeth. So it's kind of just like, no matter how much money you put into it, or, you know, if you're born with a pretty face but then you eat really bad at a certain age, you're just going to look worse. If you don't know how to put on makeup, then that girl might be prettier than you, but naturally you're better than her. There's all these different things that kind of play into it, and it's just kind of how society is. Maybe this will kind of lead to more just individual Bill Burr videos, because I was very entertained. He's very funny, and I really like the topics that Joe Rogan speaks about and the people he has on his podcasts sometimes.
Right. But
But that's it for today. Make sure you like and subscribe and go follow me on Instagram and TikTok, and if you could join Patreon, I would thank you so much. But yeah, thanks for watching.